Sonia's here. Hey, first person I can see, Yana.
Hello.
How's it
Hi,
going?
how's everyone?
Yeah, all good. How is everyone doing this? Simona, long time. Great to see you. All right. Like to see that. All right, some more coming in. Let me just make sure I can pin. Great. All right, all right. Okay, so much to talk about. So much to talk about. That's why I got my fancy hat on. I'm like a detective trying to work out this inside timer world. Sanja, how you doing? Good to see you here.
Good, thank you. And you?
I'm good. I'm good. Samantha's coming in. All right, these are the keynotes. These are people going like, "Hey, right, we got to solve this." Um, someone like Sanja probably feels the same way as me, which is, I just nailed this. I just worked this out. I just got to terms with this. Things are going along smoothly, and then Christopher Ploughman, as his name suggests, just plowing through the situation, going, you know what? Uh, 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 no more funsies for you guys. I'm being hyperbolic, of course. Um, we're going to talk all about that. I made notes. The first thing I did this morning, I actually had a whole nother thing I needed to do this morning. I went for a morning walk, sat down for my coffee, and I saw that came up, and I was like, what's this now? Tom was only supposed to meet with him on Thursday. Um, so this is great. He's in early. He's in early, and the sooner the better for all of us, I think. So, um, yeah, I think that looks like everyone that is coming is here, which is great news. So we've got some new faces, we've got some old faces. I mean that relative only to the community, not to your faces particularly. All right, nothing to do with your age, just how long you've been here. So it's good to see a good mixture of people. I've been loving watching this community grow anyway, finding a hub for Inside Timer teachers to be like, exactly for this. You know, this community is so well designed for situations like this where you go like, okay, Inside Timer, I've just put something out. You know they're going to be a little bit dry on the details. There's going to be no one to discuss it with. And you kind of get lost in the void sometimes. You know, there'll be almost no YouTube videos on this, although I probably will end up doing one. But it's just hard. It's hard to navigate this and bounce ideas off people. And that's where the community aspect comes in so well. So just to say, change is opportunity. Because you know what? Everyone doesn't know what's going on. And this is good, especially for you new teachers. You should be going, this is perfect. This is perfect because I get to be an early adopter. All right. All the biggest people in all tech fields are the early adopters. They're the people that got there first. They ended up iterating quickly. And the fastest way to iterate is kind of using an AI model, which sounds funny when we talk about people, but what's going to happen here is each one of us on our own is going to try stuff out. We'll probably try stuff out based on how much knowledge we have, a hunch, and we'll try things out and they'll work or they won't work. And then we'll try something new out. But in a community, what happens is we're all trying things out, whether we know we are or we're not. We're all going to approach this a slightly different way. And then what's going to happen is we're going to get together and go, this thing worked really well. And it's going to just disseminate across the community, which is exactly why we want this community. So people can be like, hey, this is the way to do it. So I just want to say, you're in a good place. You're in a good place. It may feel like it's a bit scary, but no one's going to figure this out quicker than we will. Because we're together, we're bouncing ideas off. People are going to plug in each other's holes, right? Like I might have a gap, a blind spot in what I saw, and you're going to go, I think this is what they meant. Now I'm going to do my best always to be vigilant about this stuff. And I have some experience in Inside Timer. I was gone through with the fine-tooth comb that interview, but there still may be things I miss out. So that's where I want you guys to come in and go, what about this? And again, I just want to point out, no one knows what's happening now, which is great news. This is mad opportunity. All right. And the first takeaway from that interview that I watched this morning was Christopher Ploughman did not look like a defeated CEO. He didn't look like someone who thought, the jig is up. He sounded like someone who's got like, I've got this idea and then this idea. There's an interesting concept in psychology, which is future discounting. And what you find, people that are particularly depressed or in dire situations discount the future. So they don't plan for the future because they don't even believe that they'll get there. And you see it in business too. If you don't believe that your business is going to make it to next year, when someone's like, we should do some forecasting, you're like, why would I do that? That's not, Christopher Ploughman's talking about the next 10 years. So based on purely what he's talking about and the things that he's putting into play, certainly from his perspective, whether he's right or wrong, is that someone who's gone, I think there's something to this. And I agree with him. After hearing him, I'm like, great opportunity. So before we go into my notes, are there any pressing questions that anyone like is like, I need to know this first. So I'm going to go through it kind of like systematically as best I can in the short time we have together. And then I want to tell you about some exciting things that are going on in the community and elsewhere. But if you've got a question, hit me up. Feel free to speak out or just put it in the chat. I'm going to assume everyone's good then if no one's got anything going on. Okay. So quick, just poll in the chat. It's going to be nice and easy. It's just going to be numbers. Give me a 1 if you are yet to set up a profile, haven't uploaded anything. Okay, actually a 1 if you've yet to set up a profile. A 2 if you've got a profile, but you haven't uploaded. 3 if you've got a profile, you've uploaded, but you don't have that much. And 4 if you've made at least a course. 5 if you've made multiple courses. And let's just get I just want to gauge of how my community is doing here. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 5, 1, 5, 5. Okay. Look, and whatever level you're at, this community is designed to help you guys. So it's just good for me to know. Okay. Okay. So we're at the average is probably a high experience here with a few newcomers. All right. Cool. The good news is if you're a newcomer, you're not going to lose out on any money. The hard work if you're number 5 or onwards is like, damn, those comments have dried up quick. So let's go through what those changes were that Christopher Ploughman put forward. The big change is that engagement is worth nothing now. That's too hyperbolic. Engagement is not worth anything monetary. So when you make a course, there was something called a classroom. I'm just doing this for anyone who hasn't made a course. You have a classroom area. And in that classroom area, you get to reply to people. At one stage, it was $25 a reply, okay, which was amazing. So if you could maximize for comments, you would crush it. What they say now is you don't get paid for that. You also get paid $1 every time you reply to a review, and that was pretty cool too. But they're taking that away too. So there's a huge pot of money, and it used to be a revenue split of 50-50, profit split between the Inisght timer and us teachers. And of that 50%, we split it between 75-25. 75% for plays, 25% for engagement. Now, it's interesting hearing this interview. What Christopher Ploughman's saying now is that they needed to shave some money. They were paying people too much. I think a lot of us thought, even when they were paying the comments, it was not sustainable, because if each subscriber is paying $25 for each comment, if they're only getting 60 per person, they're out of pocket pretty quickly. So I think we all knew the jig was up at some point. But again, this is why you want to be an early adopter. You see, if you were in this community 6 months ago, you would have gone, damn, that is a good thing. Let's get some comments out. So it's all good. All that happens is the paradigm shifts, we shift with it. So what's happening now is they've got a 60-40 split. The 40% is to us now. The percentage that they've taken, that 10%, actually comes from, by chance, a similar amount to what they were paying us in total in comments. Okay. So at first I was like, oh, is this a way of they just don't like it being gamed because some people were using farms? It just seems to be there was a hole in their budget, and the hole in their budget needed to be filled, and comments seem to be about the right amount. So what's been happening is they've taken out that 10% of what they pay us, and that's going to allow them to be more profitable. I also tend to agree that as us teachers, it's not a transferable skill to get people to comment on stuff. Okay. And I say that as someone who was quite talented at getting people to write things, but that is not like a transferable skill. That doesn't make me a better meditation teacher. I can't go to like someone and go, by the way, if you need someone to write stuff after they listen to me, I'm your guy. Like that doesn't give me much value in the marketplace. So they recognize that. And what they can do now is they're going to incentivize other things. And I would say I couldn't feel, but sometimes that, because Ploughman was talking to me, it was like some people just knew how to get the comments and that wasn't working for us. And I was like, you've got to get your systems right. And by his own admission, he's changed the system now so that if we game the system, they benefit. And that's where things work the best, okay? In the gig economy, Uber, Airbnb, what's another good example? Deliveroo. Those companies don't own anything. What they do is they facilitate. They facilitate end user to whoever's providing the service provider or product provider. And when they do that well, everyone wins. You can get a cab now quicker than you ever could for a price more competitive than you ever could because of Uber. You can get your food quicker than you ever could at a price better than you could before because of Deliveroo. You get the point. That's what they need to do. They need to make sure that everyone gets more value. And the real take-home message from Crystal Ploughman was provide value to this platform. If you're a teacher, provide value and you will get remunerated. And that is a great system because you will become a better teacher. And if you're not, you won't be getting paid. So this is good. You want this, okay? You don't want the easy out. You want to be able to do well out of it. Okay, let me go to my notes here. Okay, so that's the first thing I got. Last year, they went profitable for the first time. It reduced the overall numbers that they had. Okay, so they went profitable with this paywall that they have now. The early teachers never used to get paid at the beginning. Now they do get paid. But by his own admission, new teachers were not getting incentivized, and also they weren't getting discovered. So again, great news. They recognize that. If you're a new teacher, it's hard. Visibility is tough. Recently, it's been even more tough, and it sounds like they've been playing with their algorithms as to how they tag things. So they've been using AI to try tag things and then also manually try tag things. And the AI are like smashing it. So if you go to your phone on some versions, you can go to your phone and go, I'm feeling a bit anxious about flying to New York. And it will give you anti-anxiety, jet lag playlists. And that's great. That is amazing. But that means you need to be making content that is useful. How do you define use? You add value. You solve problems. So be looking for problems and be looking for things to solve. Okay. I'll just go through this in order and then we can get some questions in too. So what they're looking for now, instead of incentivizing comments, they're looking for CURR, C-U-R-R, which I forget now, customer user return rate, I think is what it stands for. Basically, can you get people to come back to the platform? All right, you know that they don't like extracting people from the platform. So if you say like, hey, come see my website, they don't dig that because everything is done in the platform. Now, what they're saying is, hey, if you get people to come back, they don't have to come back and listen to your track, but if you can just get them to come back to the app tomorrow, you'll get a little bonus, which is amazing. So if you make content that makes people come back, you will get a bonus. All right. So that means you have to start thinking, how do I incentivize my client to come back to the app? And there's a few different ways. One is I go, hey, thanks so much for listening to me. That is my breathwork done. Now, if you want something a little bit different, Yana has got a meditation on how to look after your pet. I suggest you go check that out. Okay. Now, I would say you want a better link than that because that's quite random. But if someone likes breathwork, maybe they also like a certain type of other breathwork and you know a facilitator, send them back. Another way is, and I've said this in my previous webinar, don't have a body of work, have a body of network. So I have Stoic snippets. Stoic snippets are these 2 to 5 minute 2 to 5 minute courses, tracks that point people towards my course. So I have a Stoic reading and I say, hey, if you enjoyed that, go check out my course on Stoicism. I think you'll love it. And I self-promote like that. And what I'm doing is making sure that traffic gets driven back to something else. So someone might go, I did enjoy that. I might come back tomorrow for another Stoic snippet, or I might come back for the course. Make sure there's this circular thing. If you want to see where people do this very well, YouTube. Every good YouTuber, at the end of their video, there's somewhere to go. There's a web. So you can go, hey, thanks for watching this personal finance introduction. If you want to go to the next step deeper and you want to learn how you can save 100,000 in 10 years, you need to watch this video. Ah, maybe I do. Okay, so that's the first thing. So you're going to get remunerated for bringing people back to the platform. So as best you can, start thinking of ways that you can do that. Okay. Now, this was something that Duolingo wrote a lot about because they weren't growing. And as a metric, that seems to point towards the direction of a profitable platform. So that's why they're all over it. They're like, hey, we could smash it with this. So like I say here, now this is interesting. They want to pay for a lot of the cool new features they're going to do, especially a lot of AI stuff is coming. Now, they like to use the term ambient intelligence, which is ways you can facilitate better teacher work, I guess. If you have a course, you'll know in the classroom you have AI-generated responses. That's an example of ambient. It's like, hey, this is something you probably don't want to do as a teacher all the time. Here's a way we can solve this. So as a teacher, you can help more people by leveraging your time. So in order to do that, they need to be profitable. So they needed to get 20% of their money back. And the way they could do that was getting rid of the comments. Now, 20% is exactly $550,000, more or less, okay? So what they're doing is for the next 3 months, that $550,000 is kept as a fund. So if you were one of the teachers, Sanjay, you'll probably be one of them. Let's see who else is here. If Sam is on here, she'll be another one where you'll probably be negatively affected. Okay, because the comments, for me, they make up probably 35 to 40% of my income. So certainly I will be getting less income next month. What Christopher Ploughman's saying is that for this transition phase, those comments, what you would have made will be reflected on there. It'll say something like, you know, here's your pay slip because there's no comments on it. Then underneath it'll say what you would have made. And then underneath that, you'll get paid exactly that back. But it'll come from this fund. So not all is lost. So for the next few months, for the next 3 months, you'll probably get paid the same way you got paid before. They're going to top it up, but only for the next 3 months. So not all is lost. You're still going to get paid for your comments. That's still worth replying to them. I also think replies is a good way to bring people back to the site. It's also a good way to use that cur. So, hey, who else we got here? Hey, Simono, I love that track of yours. And, you know, it made me feel really peaceful. You say, hey, Doug, thanks so much. You know, I've got another track just like this. Try this one out tomorrow. You're pointing them again to something else, okay? You're also giving yourself a little bonus. Everyone wins. Airbnb, Deliveroo, Uber. You get the idea. So we just have to shift our mind frame a bit, not a lot. I've been thinking long and hard about this. A lot of the same stuff still applies about courses, about engagement, about all that stuff. Okay. So let's get back to what he was saying. So we're going to get that money. That 550,000 is like a floating fund if you're going to be negatively affected. And then you'll get paid for your plays. And it sounds like I thought you'd get more of a cut from the overall fund, but because it's only 40% now, it doesn't sound like that's going to be the case. Okay, so after those 3 months, you're going to see a negative effect. However, after those 3 months, you're going to see some different ways to make money. The first one is these retreats, okay? The retreats are your biggest option to make money by far. Okay, I used to run retreats. They are harder work though. The hardest thing about them is selling them out. the hardest thing about selling them out is talking to your people. They've trialed this out with a teacher in New York where they went, hey, you've got a retreat coming up. Do you want to sell through Insight Timer? Sure. Okay. How would you like help? Well, could you tell me who's listened to my stuff and who in the New York area? Sure. You get those two things together, suddenly you've got 20,000 hot leads. That makes it much easier to sell your retreat. Okay. So you've got 3 months. So start looking at this. Start looking at basic retreats. So how we make money is actually more exciting because you'll make far more profit off your retreat than you will off your tracks. Okay, way more. If you sell out a retreat, you're into the thousands quite easily. Okay. So I would be saying start to get ready for that. If you don't know anything about retreats, well, one, you may say, I don't want to do it. Fair enough. Two, you may say, I'll give this a go. And if you are going to even remotely think about it, make sure you click on the link on Christopher Ploughman's initial post on LinkedIn because you can apply to be part of that. All right. Make sure you apply for both because you want to be part of the beta testing because you'll probably do better because there'll be less people doing it. So that'll be exciting. In September, you'll be able to do that. But don't wait till September to hit the ground running. Get that going. Another way you can prepare for your retreats is a lot more simple. Get people to know, like, and trust you. Sales 101. People love buying stuff. They hate being sold to. How do we avoid that? We build goodwill with our clients, with our students. What does goodwill look like? Adding value to their life, solving problems for them, making them look to you and go, hey, you help me loads. I'll do whatever I can to help you. And the value equation's way out. So lives, free content, premium content, all the good stuff, but mainly lives. Get in front of your people because you know what? You're not going to be that polished track that they hear in premium. You're going to be you. So find the people that like you. The more people they can interact with you is also going to give Insight Timer the metadata to go, hey, here's someone who's been to 5 lives. Here's someone who's listened to this many things. Those people probably want to come on your retreat. But again, even if you don't want to do a retreat, doing these lives, I see probably a triple increase in my followers each time I go live. Okay, not overall, per day. So I go from like 7 or 8 to about 21 the minute I go live. So that is such a big thing for your reach. Make sure you're going live. This is what I'm saying. A lot of the old rules still apply. Let me cruise through a bit more of these now. So Apple is still an issue. They say that if there's more than one person on your meditation, then this is a digital product. And as a result, they take 30%. So that's why they don't want to do online retreats because you'll get hit with the 30% again, which means after Insight Timer take their cut of 20, you're left with 50%. No go. All right. Retreats, he spoke a lot about here. One of the biggest revenues for Insight Timer teachers overall. Most teachers are very keen on doing it. They're very happy with the cut. Apple will not be taking a cut of any of that. They'll effectively have two options. One, they'll be the booking platform, which makes it very highly technical for them to organize. They said they're probably not going to do that. Instead, they're going to send it out to a third-party booking engine so that when the booking takes place, they take their 20% out straight away. Now, I would say all of you smart cookies will be thinking like me, which is, I don't want you to send out my retreats to people of a certain area. What I want you to do is tell me where my people are from. I'm more likely, for instance, I know a lot of my followers are from the States. I'm probably more likely to fly to the States to run a retreat than to say all my, let's say, West Coast followers to go, hey, do you fancy coming to Bali? I mean, some might want to come, but it's probably easier for me to change my location to suit my followers than the other way around. So, and again, can I just say, if you've got only a couple of 100 followers, that's all you need. You don't need that many followers for stuff like that. I can't host a retreat for 5,000 people. I can only host a retreat for 10. All right. There's also seminars, things like this. So make sure you apply for that, please. And option 3, they actually said, this is why you want to be first to this. Option 3, they said, they may not take a cut at all for the first few months of your retreat. So just to be clear, you're going to get access to 27 million people, potential hot leads, and they're not even going to take any of the money. Like, that is dreamy. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you are contemplating doing the retreats. Okay, you don't have to plan it yet or have done one. Just tell me if you're planning on doing it. I'm going to keep running here. The biggest issue with people is that 80% of people don't sell out their retreats. Roughly $500 million retreat cash has not been realized. $500 million. That's mental. How they're going to advertise it? It'll look something like this. You'll do a live. Has everyone seen at the end of a live, as it finishes, you get like a review of like how many people were there, how much gratitude. Does that make sense to everyone? Just nod along if, yeah, okay. So what's going to happen is when the people finish a live, a screen's going to come up and it's going to be like Doug's retreat, May 24th. And then what your premium tracks or your courses. So very cool. So that means it's going to be like hitting your people all the time. Okay. So that's all the advertising on your profile, and then after each piece of content is listened to. So you should be thinking now, hang on, if it's advertised after every piece of content people listen to, I can increase my chances of advertising simply by having lots of content. So again, same rules apply to what I've been teaching in Inisght Timer Pro. You got to make content. You got to make good content. Course content is particularly good because one, a 7-day course gets people coming back. Guess what? 7 days if you've done it well. That's 7 days of bonuses. That's 7 times they're going to see your advert for your retreat. Courses are still king. Right. Next up. Oh, yeah. They explained the situation like a baker. They said currently what's happening is the marketplace works like this. They should be going, I make some bread, you all make some bread. The consumer comes in, they grab some bread from somewhere, we put all the breadsticks out, and then we try to work out who they owe money to. But some people make great bread and some people make terrible bread. What they're trying to do is go, only if you make great bread are we going to give you good bread, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the business model they're changing. They're trying to make it that only the people that provide value to the platform are going to get remunerated. So here, 1, look for ways to provide value. 2, if you think there's another way they could incentivize it, email them. They're super receptive with this stuff, right? So if you're like, I like that, but I'll tell you what would be really valuable for you guys. What if I did this? Can't you incentivize that? Okay. The next way to make money is a subscription model, which is like a Substack. It's a newsletter, coaching calls. And what they've seen, I think, is the writing on the wall, which is that everyone's moving towards an MRR, which is a monthly recurring revenue. People love MRR, okay? Because MRR, wow, if you say it quick enough, it makes you sound like you're having a stroke. But MRR is something that you can rely on. So as a teacher, instead of going, I wonder what my plays are going to be, you can be like, I got 100 people on my mailing list at $20 a piece. That's bank, okay? So think about that now. If you want to do more research into this, check out Substack. Substack is the model. So watch some tutorials on Substack, how to get started on Substack. And again, just get your mind thinking. You want to hit the ground running when these things come out. Saying that, he said it won't be, it'll only be like after December, really, that this will come out. So you got time with that one. Yeah, they've been using a lot of AI. And AI's got like 150 different topics. They're going to use that as their taxonomy, which means that your meditations will be tagged very differently now. There'll be a transcript of your meditation, which AI will then listen to and go, okay, this is about this. Then when someone checks in and they say like, I've had, I'm feeling bad today. I'm feeling bad because of work. It'll throw them a playlist of work-related anxiety meditations. So I might start looking at those things in the check-in of like, how you're doing. So again, those can just be good places. Again, all you're trying to do is solve problems for people though. And the better you can do it, the better you'll make. All right. Yeah, they started making playlists. We've all seen our homepages changed anyway. That's part of it. AI will help discoverability for new teachers because it won't just be popular lists anymore. They are well aware that the popular lists have really, really benefited the old teachers more than us because they've got 5 or 6 years ahead of us. So, like, of course, they got lots more listens, which means they go on the popular tracks, which gets them more listens, which puts them back on the popular track. All right. So my point really with all of this is an opportunity. Okay. And this month is particularly an opportunity. And let me tell you why. How many of you guys, when you heard the news, were a little bit deflated? Put a 0 in the chat if you kind of were like, oh man, and lost a bit of motivation. Okay. All right. So yeah. Okay. Now, if you felt like that, I can tell you thousands of teachers are going, I don't know. What do we know about Insight Timer? We know that they share profit. So if thousands of teachers this month are going, I don't know if I'm even going to bother making content. Good. That's exactly what we want because you make content and you're going to get a bigger cut, a much bigger cut because there's going to be so many teachers that were kind of on the edge and have now gone, I'm not going to do this too hard. There's so many people that are waiting to give up. Anyway, this is perfect for us. Let them fall by the wayside. Make sure they don't put our content this month. Double down on content because you're going to get paid. Remember, you're actually going to get paid the same as last month because you're going to get that fund that replaces the difference. So now is your month. This is your month to take advantage of this. All right. This is kind of Lance Armstrong style. It's not about the bike. He used to say he used to get so excited when it was raining and terrible because he was like, oh my goodness, so many people are not going to be training today. I'm going to have one up on them. That's how your mindset needs to be. It's a revenue share. So if you get in there this month, this is a good month for you. This is a very good month for you. You can start to really make some headway. Do not fall into the trap of going, may as well not. We're going to be early adopters. And that's what this community is all about. We're going to be early adopters. We're going to be quick to iterate, quick to change, quick to succeed. Okay. Now, before I get on to anything else, let me just check YouTube on Insight. Yeah, that's another one. For bringing people to the platform. If you've got a course, it may be time to start putting one of the episodes onto YouTube and pointing people to your Insight Timer. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this, check out my Insight Timer for this full course. Stuff like that. Okay. If you like this meditation, go check out Insight Timer, even if they check out your free stuff. So that is it for me. I've waffled on for a bit here. Let's talk about any questions you guys have. I've tried to cover everything, but I'm sure I've left some stuff out. So anyone have any questions straight off the bat? Any people got any ideas about things they want to try or what's going to change? Got a shy bunch here.
This is Samantha.
Yay.
I still don't really understand why. And maybe it's just too hard with our I can't even say the word. Oh my God, not even gonna say it.
I'm kind of intrigued. I want to know what this word is.
Why can't I say it? With their metrics, I'll say that. With live
algorithms?
sessions.
Algorithms.
Yes. I can't say it. Why can't I say it? But anyways, with live sessions, why there's never anything in there? Like I have shared this a few times with them. Like with live sessions, we put so much time and effort into this. And why, like for free sessions, you get like, right, well, it was like 7 cents per person playing it. And so if there's 44 people come in, that's kind of like a play. You should get 7 cents for that each 44 person. Or, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be anything for this. If someone just logs in and hits you to watch you, and some people, they talk for an hour and a half, and then signs off and comes up the next day. It doesn't seem like there's gonna be anything that says, I was here for Doug's session and I'm coming back the next day because he had a fantastic session.
Yeah.
It's not going to be tracking that.
So Great point. I will say Tom did bring up a point, which was pay for lives. So there would be an opportunity to go, hey, here's my free live. Tomorrow I'll be hosting a private live. And
Okay.
this is what the ticket is, okay? 1. 2, I had a similar idea to you, which was, I think what would really work for them is the freemium model where they ask people when they're about to sign in and purchase it, an affiliate link like code where they go, is there any teacher that has convinced you to come premium? And if they mention you, or they say that you've been an influence because of your content, that you start to get a cut of that revenue. That's something I'm going to suggest to them, because again, that's in their interests. If you're getting people that were free to come premium, that works. I think your point is, if someone's come to a live and they come back the next day, how do they track that? And I don't know that they can't. I just don't think they've thought about that. Certainly in their return rate, that should be included. Certainly that should be included, because if someone's coming back, they must be like, oh, well, I had a great live yesterday. So totally, I think that should be included. I also just think the power of the lives, man. I've been talking about retreats already on my lives. And there's already a great bit of feedback going like, yeah, I'd love this. I'd love to basically do these lives. Now, we're not getting paid for the lives just yet. Sam, I would contemplate, though, running Descript or Riverside FM in the background while you do a live. If nothing else, just to record what you do and then make a talk out of that. Make a meditation out of that. So that you're doing that, it's not one and done with your work. So it's like, I did this prep work. That was a pretty good live. You could either upload it direct, or you could go, I'm going to rehash that. But if you use Descript or Riverside, you'll have the text as a script, and you can clean it up a bit and then record that. And you have a track out of your live. Certainly they should allow us to do that. I mean, they give us the replay anyway, but maybe with the AI thing, if they give us the transcript, that would be even better. So
yeah, that's a good point. And I don't know why they don't allow us just to do that as it is. I mean, I think they're afraid we'll share it on YouTube or another platform or something like that.
yeah, but there's ways to lock it where you go publish to your library. Click where you don't get to download the file. So again, this is perfect, Sam. That's such a great idea. They are receptive to ideas. So, give them a holler. I think they're probably quite busy this time, but definitely give them a little holler at. So yeah. Right. What was the other thing? Any other questions? Any other ideas that people are coming up? How are people feeling? That 1 for excited in the chat, 0 for less excited. We'll keep it with a positive spin. Because I might have something to cheer you up. 1-0. Nice. Yana is on the fence. No one's ever been more on the fence. Wow, it's like it's totally split here. I'm pretty sure. Let me just move this. What is? Anyone else get like the Grammarly gets in the way of the actual trying to read stuff?
Oh yeah, mine does that too.
It's well
The
annoying.
other thing that's interesting too, though, that I just noticed that you were saying about the advertising, it'll be interesting to see that, because it's funny that you say for you it's in the United States, where most of my followers are in the UK though.
Oh, so we got to
And,
do a little switch. We got to do the
yeah,
holiday.
exactly. But because I'm in Boston and it's really expensive to rent a facility here. So that's the thing that kind of worries me, is if it's advertising mostly to those people, probably because I have such a monotone voice, so people love it over there, not so much here. And it's like, if it's 500 at a minimum an hour, and if I spend all that money up front, and then they're taking a cut of it too, and then I don't make that back.
Yeah. Listen,
That's
that business
kind of
is a
scary.
whole nother thing, but there are ways around it. Trust me, there's ways around it. So don't worry about that so much. your biggest problem is getting people to be interested. But you can pre-sell stuff. You can pre-sell way ahead of time and say, look, it's going to be in this area. You know, I'm going to give you a preferential rate for buying now. You get your numbers in, and you're like, all right, I've broken even minimum, and you also know how much you can play with, while you're getting your numbers right. Sanjay, I love this idea. You record yours on Audacity, edit them as tracks. That's your lives, I'm guessing you're saying, yeah? Yeah. And then Asha, you're saying that one of the teachers does the same. Yeah, if you've prepared something, like, why not? Like, I just think the lives are so good at like refining your skill in general that I'm a big proponent of them. I'm trying to go live as much as possible. My following is like really increasing, but my plays are going up too, because people like, they've never seen me before, and because of the algorithm, they don't see me. And then when lives, people can't help but see you, and they see your name come up over and over again. Use your lives as well as you can. Slightly off topic, but
I had
yes.
a thing. I just popped into my head about
Mm-hmm.
retreats. A possibility would be to create a retreat together, multiple teachers. I just
Love
had
that.
that just popped into my head because for me it's also difficult. I would definitely have to go to the audience because in Norway it's it's a small country in the first place and not many people, so there is no way I could do it here. So I would have to go to somewhere else.
But I
So
would say,
yeah,
I think one that's a great idea. Is something I talk to Inside Time about all the time is, why aren't we doing IT IRL, Inside Timer in real life? Like, I would love like some sort of Inside Timer con where they're
yeah,
like,
that would be
oh, we're gonna,
awesome.
and you'd
Yeah.
be like, the teachers get together, like, this is what's happening, a town hall where they're like, who's excited about what's happening? I think they would just get the community so behind them. But
Yeah,
I would say a lot of people would want to go to Norway to do a
that's
retreat.
true.
A lot of British people would go, I'm not staying here. I'll definitely, Norway is gorgeous, So for the European destinations, we're nice and close. So you just have to factor that in, getting pricing right, stuff like that. But we can do a whole like seminar on running your first retreat. So that's again the advantage of a community. You're not talking to randos. You're not watching rando YouTube videos. You're like, this person did it. This is how they did it. Oh, can I ask them some more questions? Yeah, they're right here. So that's where I think the community is really, really useful. Yeah. Any other things that are coming up for people? Okay. So let me then just share some things that are changing. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. So some things that are changing in school, just how I'm offering things. So you guys know that the Inside Timer Pro class, you guys see it here. And for you guys, you pay $3.99 for it if you're in the free community. There's a discount if you come to the premium community. And if you don't know, we've got a second community, which is called the Millionaire Meditators. This is where I have I call them my Avengers. These are people super serious about what they're doing. And this is kind of where we hash together a lot of ideas of what we're going to do. I'm trying to think about ways we mix this up, make it more sense. So what I'm doing now is, in the free community, this will always be here. You'll always be able to chat, and those offerings will be there. I'm adding a few more offerings now. But now if you come across to the premium, the Millionaire Meditators, you're just going to get all the courses for free. So the courses will be built into the price. It's a monthly membership and it just recurs and you can cancel anytime. Some people have been in and out of there anyway. So I'm just changing everything and flattening that all out now. So if you were planning on doing the Inside Timer Pro course, which is all about making courses, making your first course, and also repeating that course, something that Sanjay's done, Sam's done, let me just say they've done very well. Like, they hit the ground running. They did the course, they applied the course, they made the money back and some. So again, this month, just to be clear, you're going to make the same amount you made last year. It's just on your payslip, it's going to say a smaller amount. Then it's going to say, I think they called it teacher top up, and that's going to come from that fund. So if you have a course and that course does well, you're still going to get paid for the next 3 months. I can guarantee you'll make back whatever you spend on the community, because the community is cheaper than the course is. It's like the course is now over 3 months payment plan instead of a 1 month. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. Next thing is for the next 20 minutes, they'll be discounted just because I haven't changed the price yet. And then it's going to go up to the community to reflect the course that are in there now. So before you had to buy a course in there too, it's going to be $79 now, or $70, I think, is Millionaire Meditators Club. And then after that, it's going to go to $97 after the 20 minutes when I'm finished on this call. So if you want to get in now. You're good to leave at any time. You're guaranteed to make your money back. And if not, just let me know. But I'm sure if you apply what we've done in there, you'll be fine. So good time to move across there. As always, appreciate you guys. We're going to be doing a mastermind in that paid community tomorrow. So anyone in that community, let me know. You can just join the community and we'll be hashing out some strategies of what to do with this new setup. The other thing is I emailed Insight Timer, as I always do. I also emailed Veronica, head of teachers. I also emailed, there's one more girl who is the teacher success person. If you know her, let me know. She's a Brazilian girl. I've emailed all of them, as well as the COO of Insight Timer, Luke Jordan, about these changes. I have very specific questions I wanted to ask. So I'm sure in the next few weeks they'll be coming out, and as they share that with me, I'm going to share it with you guys. So it'd be good to rehash those out. And if you guys have any questions, put them either to Insight Timer themselves, or if you're feeling a bit shy, just send them, put a post and then I'll ask them directly. So Sam, certainly your idea, put it in there. Yana, your ideas, same deal. Put it in there, make it work for them. And don't be disheartened. That's kind of my last thing. Like I say, I'm seeing this month is probably the month I want to put the most content out, because I know other people aren't. This is not going to be the month. A lot of people are just going to bail now. So don't be one of those. Use this time to your advantage. Like I said, when they first changed the Insight Timer to include premium tracks, that's when my life changed with Insight Timer. Before that, I wasn't making any money on there. And as soon as they offered that, I was like, that's my opportunity. Now I'm going to get in. And that's kind of how I blew past the competition, because I was one of the early adopters with the premium content. So we want to do the same with this. All right, everyone. Any other questions? Asha, it's my pleasure to release as much as possible. Yeah, I like that, Janice. Next time and make use of the, yeah, exactly. That's exactly my point. So again, make a course if you need help doing that. Get the premium meditation out there, and I wish you all the luck. Oh yeah, and Samantha, Sanja, anyone else in the Millionaire Meditators group, that we're running a competition for whoever can increase their amounts the most. If you guys, do you watch school games here on School at all? So on the School games, they run a competition to see who can make the most each month, which is pretty wild when you see what people are doing out there. But we're going to do the same for Insight Timer. Whoever changes their monthly the most gets a $50 cash straight to their PayPal or whatever they want. So it's just my way of trying to incentivize you guys to go, like, go for it. And if you do that, you can get $50. And also just keeps us accountable. So we're like, hey, this month I want to do better each time. Okay. Right. That's all from me. Any other questions? You know where to find me. See you next time. Take care, everyone.